Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, we have a tradition on this channel where, beginning of every new year, we go over what we believe to be our 10 most anticipated things of the following year. This might be movies, video games, TV shows, life events, just whatever we're excited for, we're going to talk about today. So, you want to get us started?
I certainly can. So, my number 10 thing is Kung Fu Panda 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So, basically, I love the Kung Fu Panda series. I think it's well written. I think the jokes are
Mm-hmm.
great. The animation is way better than it ever needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the lot. The villain's really good. This one, though, I worry for two reasons. One, in your trailer, you're like, oh, this villain everyone's talking about deserves better. We're gonna bring him back, only to immediately in the trailer, like, not really use him, which is
Yeah.
really not cool in my opinion. It's kind of like, why even do it if you're just gonna take it away? But
Mm.
you
Like
know,
the trailer is trying to pitch it as like a No Way Home, but with Kung Fu Panda, but it's not really that. Like the main character is like stealing their powers, or like stealing what they do, as opposed to like actually them being there. Like, yeah, I don't know. I also don't really love it. Even even No Way Home to an extent, I was a little iffy on, but yeah, but it turned out good. But like, I don't really love necessarily when a movie is just like, oh, here's a bunch of characters from the previous movie, and that's the sell. Like, especially with just how strong like good the villains are, especially one and two. Like three is good too, but the villain from two is fantastic. So I would have loved to see them all interacting together, but I don't think we're gonna get that.
yeah, probably not.
Mm.
But I mean, it's one of those things that it's just kind of like I don't want to say no to Kung Fu Panda, but I also have a bad vibe about, especially they're trying to push this new Dragon Warrior for seemingly no reason,
Yeah,
which
I
also
don't know.
feels like a bad idea. But
Hmm.
they've made three really good movies. I trust
Yeah.
them to make a fourth. We will see how it goes. So I'm on board.
Yes. Yeah, it comes out in March, so not that much longer to wait.
No,
My number 10 is The Penguin Show.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, there hasn't not like a hard release date, but they said sometime this year.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's a TV show set in, the Batman universe, directed by Matt Reeves. Like, I have no reason to think it's going to be bad. Like,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah, like it's going to go, more into like now there's a power vacuum in the city, like all the different like crime lords just doing stuff. Like uh, yeah, it's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, probably. I think so. It's one of those things where it's like the movie did very well. I really liked
Mm.
the Penguin's character. I really like,
Oh yeah.
how the world works. I like the direction they're going. So, assuming you're going to keep all the elements to it, this sounds like a
Mhm.
great idea. I worry a little bit about the direction it's going to go. Is it either going to be like
Mm.
a where do we go from here? It's always whenever
Oh, oh dear.
there's a man thing without Batman, it worries me a bit because I don't know
Mm.
how much they're going to be able to actually do. But I do. I mean, the Penguin and like what how this Gotham is set up, there does seem to be plenty enough they could kind of either work without it, or I'm not sure if this is going. Are they going prequel or sequel or whatever? But
From what we can tell, it's gonna do like some of both. It's gonna be
mm,
largely set after ever after the Batman, but there's gonna be some flashbacks and stuff too. Yeah.
right. So yeah, the flashback parts I don't have worries about, but I think any present moments where are they going to like oh, the back signal goes up and they just freak out and run away, or like is it just gonna
Mm.
like kind of like the Gotham effect where it alludes to Batman, but Batman's never actually like in it.
Yeah, until the very last shot when he shows up in a very, very bad outfit.
Honestly, at that point, he was like, you might as well. Like, at that point, you probably should have just shown the back where it was just the mask and the
Yeah,
cape fluttering in the wind
like a
instead of
silhouette or nope. You gotta.
yeah, that's kind of what you. I feel like that would have been better, honestly, because I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be committed for that long, you might as well just not really show it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
even the Smallville thing, I mean, didn't they end on just the chest opening with the
Mm.
suit underneath? So it's
But
like
at least like Clark Kent was in it basically as Superman for most of the show. So
that's also true. Yeah, I guess
yeah.
it's different when he already has his powers versus he has to like lead to become Batman. But then again, if it was
Mm.
just a prequel about Bruce Wayne doing the training to be Batman, I feel like that would have been better than just, hey, what's that? You ever wonder what Gotham City was like without Batman?
Yeah.
No.
You ever wondered how the Joker and Poison Ivy and Penguin and Riddler interact with Commissioner Gordon? Nope, never asked that once in my life. Don't
Nope.
care.
No one ever wanted that, but here we are. But I
That's
mean,
fine.
hey, they got a bunch of seasons, so it can't be
Yeah.
that bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, I really, really like the Penguin from the Batman. Like, I would absolutely love to see more of him, and we're going to get more of him. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Number
All
nine.
right. So my number 9, speaking of spin-off shows, I have Echo, which comes out tonight.
Yes, I originally had that in my top 10, but I was like, it's coming out the day we record this. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
like, if that, I'm
Yes.
not like anticipating it because it's already here.
Yeah, well, it's one of the. Well, I guess when I originally made the list, it wasn't out yet. I guess
That's
so. It was
fair.
like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Again, I like the idea of they're just, hey, we're just dropping it. I like that
Mhm.
a lot because I feel like this is one of those shows that I don't know necessarily has earned the week to week patience of an audience just on notoriety, but I think
Right.
that trailer for one, and also just like the idea of what they're going for here seems like really engaging. I'm excited. I think it's an
Absolutely.
interesting character. Kingpin is great so far,
Hmm.
so yeah, I
My
I, I would take more.
my number one potential issue with this show is that most of the marketing for this show has been about Kingpin and Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Like Echo is there, but like that seems to be the main draw. Same thing happened with She-Hulk, where like for weeks people
Yeah.
were like, "Where's Daredevil? Where's this? Where's that? Where's here for Daredevil?" And at least with this show, it's all one at one time, so
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get weeks and weeks of people complaining. But people still might be like, I only watched the first episode because that's the one Daredevil was in, and then I stopped watching." Well, like if the rest of the show is also good, probably should have stuck around, but I don't know how many people are going to do that.
Yeah, I hope it gets its proper due because I think
Yeah.
this could be one of those things where it's like, oh, female character, but it's actually good. So like, it's not a bit, you know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
everyone's like, we hate it because women. It's like, well, no, I think it's just like some things are just better in general, but
Yeah, no,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Like I do kind of think that sentiment was there for She-Hulk. There's some pacing problems, some issues overall, but I think it's people hate it for reasons that aren't due to the show itself. But anyway, yeah, I hope people give Echo its proper due. It's only 5 episodes, so like, even if you watch all of it, don't like it, it's less than 5 hours of your life you wasted. So it's I don't really
It's not that big
not
of a
that
deal,
bad. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that when at least hopefully I won't probably won't watch all of them by next week, but like you know we'll talk about that very soon, which is exciting. My number nine is the fact that this year we will finally be able to see the new Superman costume.
That's such a specific thing. I love it.
Yes. We'll finally get to see what James Gunn has been cooking. he confirmed that a new trailer for it probably won't be released this year, which seems about right. Usually, trailers for his movies come about 6 months before the movie comes out. It's coming out in July. Next January or February is about right. I think that's fine.
Hope so.
But yeah, just I want to see David Cornsweet in that costume. I want to know if it has trunks. I hope it has trunks.
It will have.
It-
Everything I have heard, and what we've been hearing from James Gunn, says he wants to do this the most by the book Superman ever. So I would be shocked if he doesn't have trunks.
yeah, like there was one.
Something Trunks esque.
There was one person that was kind of like yelling at him online, but like, why don't you reveal this yet? Like we've all seen the leaks. Why don't you show us anything? And he was like, do you know if it has trunks or not? It's like like I don't know, does it? Maybe,
Just
maybe
have to
not.
wait and see. I mean, I love how this is such a minute thing, but it's such a monumental thing in the community. It's like, look, this might not mean a lot to most people, but for the ones who it does,
Yes.
there's a
Even
lot
if it doesn't have trunks, as long as there's some kind of like yellow or red belt or something to break up all the blue, I'm fine with that. But I prefer the trunks.
it
it
just
just looks like
looks like
Superman.
Superman. I mean, either the trunks or like some kind of like I don't know, like breech looking red something like
Mhm.
something that like I feel like because there's no reason not to. I feel like there's
Yeah.
like because I don't. You're already wearing a superhero costume. Just lean in. You're Superman. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look that out of place to me.
Yeah. And
But
on top of that, we're also going to get other other character reveals. Like we're going to see who's like the real villain of the movie. Again, there's rumors of Brainiac, but I really hope it's not Brainiac. At least not right now.
seems
We're
yeah,
going to
it's
see
way too early.
what what's his name? Lex Luthor, the guy who Beast. What's his name?
Gosh,
I just had it and it just left my
remember.
brain. Um, mm-mm.
Oh, Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Holt. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see what he looks like as Luthor. He can pull off ball. I'm pretty sure he could.
Oh yeah, no, he's. I mean, I feel like you can pull. I feel like Bald's not like, especially especially for a movie. I feel like Bald's not that hard to pull off.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm just very very excited for that movie. But because I can't be excited for that movie to come out next year, you know, just more information about that movie is what I'm excited for. So, yeah. You're number 8.
Number 8. So I have my number 8. I've got Inside Out 2. This is a movie I have been asking for on this podcast for years because it just made sense to me. It's like this, like, again, the original idea, great characters, great colors, really good. It's like, okay, do it again. Like, let's make Toy Story 4. Let's make like all these
Cars
like
3 and whatnot.
yes,
What are we doing?
and like all the let's just like hey like let's why not do this? I mean, this seems like the most I don't know. I feel like that was the most logical sequel ever because it's like
they already teased it. Just do it.
exactly, and it's about growing up. It's like everyone does this. Like maybe it's their plan to wait a long time so they can be at the age whoever was Riley's age originally will be at that age now. But I don't even know if that's correct because I feel like it's been too long. So it's like maybe they're a little bit older, so it's better.
What, 9 years?
I think so.
So like if like literal children who are like 4 or 5 watched it, and they'll be like 13, 14. I guess. But 13, 14, won't really appreciate it the way that, you know, like, people who are older would. So I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell because it's like I don't know. It's hard to tell. We'll have to see.
But like with every Pixar sequel, I'm gonna be a little apprehensive. Like Toy Story 2 is fantastic, obviously,
Ooh.
but Finding Dory is fine, but not like anything stellar. Incredibles
Mm.
2, I've soured on so much over the years. It's
Really?
it's fun, but just there's just
I didn't
some
think
spark that's just not there the original had. I don't know. It's just not
like
quite
it's
what I was looking
definitely
for.
not as good. But it's not
Oh, I can hear you.
to me. Oh,
Okay.
there it
Oh,
is. Better?
okay, cool. Yep.
Okay. No, it's like it's not as good as the first one, but I don't think Incredibles 2 like pales in comparison in my opinion. I feel like it's a solid sequel, but it's not as good as I think we hoped it was better because of the long wait,
Hmm.
but I feel like it's still really good. I think the villain's a lot not I think the villain's not nearly as interesting.
Hmm.
And that kind of takes a lot out of it, but I think the family dynamic is still really positive. So I
Oh
think
yeah, like
that's the part that
it's
shines for me.
not bottom tier Pixar or anything, but like considering that Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie, it it's just not it's not what I was hoping for. But there's also Cars 2 and 3, which Cars 2 is literal bottom tier. Cars 3 is fine, not as good as the first one. Toy Story 4 is kind of a letdown. Just they're very hit or miss with their sequels, so
Hmm.
hopefully this one does it right.
Yeah, and I think it will because I
Oh,
know
and
this is
Monsters
more.
U. Monster U is also terrible.
Oh
So,
gosh, I ain't gonna lie, I forgot about that. But
mhm,
yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, yeah, like it really needs to. I think it can, as long as it follows up on what made the first one work, which was, you know, relatable, emotional humor, literally.
mhm,
Like, I think it'll be just fine.
yeah, yeah, I think it will be. I have no reason to doubt so far.
Yeah, I think it'll
Um,
be fine, but we'll see.
yeah, coming out in June, so good. My number 8 is the Netflix Avatar show.
Ooh, okay, that's my number 7. Perfect.
Okay, cool. It looks good somehow, but
It
also obviously I'm
does.
worried. I'm not like I'm not expecting it to be the best thing ever or anything, but like everything we've seen so far makes it look like it'll at least be a decent adaptation, which is shocking.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, visually, I have no concerns, which
Hmm.
is weird to say because that was one of my concerns going in. But, like, the characters, the casting looks, I mean, everyone looks great.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
looks pretty much exactly how you'd expect them to look in real life.
Hmm.
And, the bending we've seen at least looks really good.
Hmm.
All the locations look really good. They look exactly as advertised. Show.
Hello, hello. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, we're back. Try again.
Right. So what I was saying, it's like visually everything looks really good. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm still worried because like what's gonna be the issue? Because remember the original creators did hop off this a while ago, which
Yeah.
makes me believe that something either thematically or like a major plot point they're going against, which could be very divisive because because
Hmm.
especially before they had anything down, like when you leave that early, it's like okay, something fundamentally is not
Yeah.
on the same
Here's
page.
here's my prediction. I don't want
Okay.
this to happen, but here's what I feel. The one thing I feel that would make the original creators jump ship. I think Netflix pushed really hard to have Katara and Zuko end up together at the
I knew you were gonna say that. Oh no. Do you think they're gonna do? They can't do that. I mean, I guess
They
they could.
could. They could. They shouldn't. But
Honest. Okay. Wait. Okay. Now wait. Well, there are enough Zutara. I hate saying that Zutara
yeah.
fans for that to work. I mean, because again, they're all like they're out there. And again, as an adult watching the show again, it does
Mm,
kind of make more sense as an adult. Like as a kid, you're like, no, Aang's great, but like as an adult, you're like, yeah, that didn't really add up. Especially when like Zuko and May don't really make sense either. Other than just
no.
like, hey, you're gloomy, I'm gloomy, let's be gloomy together. But like
hmm
even that doesn't really add up. But maybe. Do you think maybe they yeah, that could be a big
No.
one. Or my thing was
Mm,
I think they pushed Azula up. That's my prediction, just because like she's
mm.
such a fan favorite character, and that would like thematically it would throw things off. But like because they want this to hit the ground running, they want all the best characters immediately, so they probably push
Yeah.
everyone into season one.
I could see there being like more flashback episodes showing Zuko and Azula together, like as kids, maybe. But I don't like from the trailers we haven't seen her in a place that she isn't usually at. But
True.
I hope they don't do that. That would be a little disappointing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's like for me, it has to be something that just throws off the whole story for them to be like, we're done so early.
Mm,
Or maybe
yeah, I
they've
don't know.
changed. Yeah, or maybe they
Yeah,
changed
I
something
mean that
fundamental. I don't know.
that did happen like 3 years ago, so it's very possible that the story has changed since then.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true. I guess we'll see, but
yeah.
I mean, again, it looks great. I can't even like I can't the only I think I remember saying Momo looked a little iffy, but like everything
Mm,
else looks great, honestly.
yeah.
Like I had no I mean, I was like, yo, this is if I saw this as a kid, I probably would have freaked out, you know? Like
Yeah. Yeah, like it won't be one of those things that will replace the original show, obviously, but like
never.
if it's at least a decent enough thing where you can be like, if you like Avatar, you will also, this is a good thing to also watch. I think that's a win as, that's about as much of a win you
Absolutely.
can get. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if they make the action look good, which so far it looks
hmm
like they have. Because again, that's the
Yeah.
hard. Like in my opinion, the bending's the hardest part to make work because the bending
hmm
has to look legit, and that's going to be hard to do in live action. But
Yeah.
I mean, for what we saw, it looked a little bit like it. We're just going to have to see it
hmm
fully because that's going to be
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. It's coming out in February, so hopefully they'll drop another trailer or two before too long. But
mm,
yeah, yeah, that's cautiously optimistic. Probably
yes.
the like of everything in my life I've ever been cautiously optimistic for. This is probably the most cautious I've ever been optimistic for something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about ever, but definitely up there because it's like I want this to work, but I'm also really nervous that it won't, and it'll make me not like it. And because like especially with Netflix, because Netflix is so hit or miss with stuff that
hmm
I'm just very like, oh, please don't mess this up. I
Yeah,
want
the
this to
One
work.
Piece live action adaptation is pretty solid.
Right,
So
but like, how many anime
very few,
adaptations have they tried? Like a bunch, and that's the
so
only
many.
one that's like actual. Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm
Death
saying. Like
Note.
it's so hit
Death
or
Note
miss.
is
It wasn't
gutter
even good.
trash. Full Alchemist is not good. Mob Psycho is not good. Like they tried so many. It's just almost none of them are getting good. So yeah, this Yu Hakusho is okay. Like they they can have hits, but most of them are misses. So
Agreed.
you know, uh, yeah, um, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, cautiously optimistic is like Definitely the most cautiously optimistic thing on my list for sure.
Yes. Something I'm not cautiously optimistic for, but actually very excited for: The Boys season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that everyone who's watched it, they're gonna tell you is good, and they're right. It's very good. Like, as long as you're okay with like blood, sex, gore, like language, as long as you're okay with it being a very adult show, it's it's good. Like the writing is just very solid. Uh, the main villains are all like, the characters in general are all amazing. Just this, the set pieces, choreography, just the way they use their powers are all very, very cool. Um, the spin-off show, Gen V last year was also very, very good. And there's some things that are in that show that like, make me even more excited for this season. Like, yeah, I'm excited. It's probably again, it's not for everybody, but it's for me. It's a very good show.
Yeah, no, I mean quality superhero shows. I mean that's what we're all about, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, number 6.
All right, my number six. I don't know if you're caught up on that, but I have Demon Slayer season 4.
I haven't seen any season 3. I don't know why. I just never haven't seen it.
Oh,
But I
okay.
yes, it
Yeah,
does
I
look it
won't
does look
talk too
good.
much about it, but essentially, yeah, it's like the like Hashira trials, more or less. Spoiler:
Mm.
Tanjiro doesn't die, so
Whoa.
so he's moving. Basically, yeah, it's supposedly he's like doing the trials to become one of the like
Mm.
ultimate demon slayers or whatever, which is like super exciting because like. Yeah, I feel like he earned it, a season ago, but I guess he had to earn it some more. But
Yes.
yeah. There's some other big stuff. I'm not going to spoil for you because I don't want to say anything. But
Mm.
it looks really good. The animation is still as good as it gets when it comes to anime. It's my opinion. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
so
like for like over a decade, it was pretty much like it was pretty much set in stone. Like the three major like gods of animation for anime was Studio Trigger, Bones, and Madhouse. Those are like if you want your show to look good, those are the people you get. Now we got Mappa, we got Ufotable. Like there's so many other just fantastic studios that make amazing stuff. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen has popped off this season. Like
dude,
I haven't quite
and
finished it, but
rightfully
it's
so.
good. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Like I feel bad for the animators because they haven't seen their family in 10 years. But like, they,
It's like I
so many
feel
people
bad, but
wanted
I
to work
also
on
want
stuff.
content,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, because they're also doing the next season of One Punch Man. They're also doing
Mhm.
Chainsaw Man season 2. They're doing
Yep.
a Jujutsu Kaisen movie. I think like they're working.
Yeah, it's dude.
Yeah,
There's
but
so much going on.
yeah, but
It's
then
so
Ufotable, the guys that make Demon Slayer, they're the best in the biz, straight up. Like they're
it's
so good.
is crazy because like like there's some animation in this show where I'm like about to shed a tear crying. Like it's not even a
Mm.
serious scene. I'm just like, this is so like especially with Demon Slayer, the reflection. Like they do
Mm.
reflections perfectly because like whenever something's either reflecting off of water or off of a sword, it looks real almost. It like I mean
Mm.
not real, but you know what I mean. Like it's so clear, it's ridiculous. It's just like, dude,
Mm.
this is like it's how when like you ever seen something like it looks so good it hurts kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for people who wear glasses. I don't know why, but like certain things you're like it's too clear. It's like I have to take my glasses off so I'm not like it's but it looks so good. Thematically, everything's really good. I really love the characters. Obviously, I'm gonna meet some new ones, but
Mm.
the only thing I will say is the demons are getting way too complicated. So I'm like, some of these demons, I'm like, that is like you're like that video game boss that made everybody put the game on easy. Because I'm like, that's
Hmm.
ridiculous. That is like
Like,
that wasn't even your final form, but your final form also wasn't your final. It's like, bro,
can't just, you can't just cut their head off anymore. There's got to be like six
Right?
other steps. Like, come on.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta get up and you gotta go left to right and you gotta do this and you gotta do only
Put in the
on
economic
the
code
weekday.
at
Stop on your right foot.
12:03 and
Don't
then
forget it. Like
yeah.
it's so complicated, and it's like no wonder these guys were the baddest ones. It's impossible to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so like it's just it's so fun. I think I worry a little bit like that might get a little bit out of hand because it kind of already has, but because like there's one like in season 4, there's one day where you're just like, bro, like I would have died like that. You got
Mm-hmm.
it, bro. I'm sorry, like
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
I was already kind of checked out towards the end of the season 2, and they're like, "Oh, I cut off her head. Oh, we have to cut off my head and my brother's head, but my brother is actually way stronger than I am. Like, you gotta cut
Yes,
both of us off at the exact same time. Like, come
yes, and it's
on."
like that's so over. Like that's especially when like we didn't even know there was 2 of them first of all. It's like wait, so there's
Mhm.
2, and they have to kill them, but you have to kill them both at the exact same time, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
And the healing factor is like ridiculous, but they,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But
Mhm.
it's still,
Yeah.
it's
It
still, it's
looks good. You kind of forgive it. That's fine.
yeah, no, I mean you forgive it. I mean thematically, and the storylines are good, so it's fine.
Mm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get cut up soon.
Hey, it
So
happened. Hey,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, okay, okay. My number 6, I have Pokemon. Maybe like usually a Pokemon thing is like top 5, but I don't even know what's happening this year because
I like how just the idea of Pokemon is higher than like half of this. Like maybe if it feels like it.
because you know last year we had the Scarlet and Violet DLC, and that was very
Hmm.
good. Um, there is like some kind of epilogue thing coming with like a new. These words aren't going to make sense to you, but like this mythical Pokemon that like was teased kind of in the DLC, but he'll actually be like there'll actually be a little story involved with him. Um, so at least there's that comes out later this week. But as far as like a brand new Pokemon game, I don't think it's time for a new generation yet. The last one was just back in 2022, so usually generations last at least 3 years. Maybe a new Legends game, but that really felt like a one-off thing. It's not close to time for remakes yet because the last ones were 2021, and remakes always have at least 4 years in between them. So I don't. It's only 3. I don't think it's time for that either. So there might be some. Also, like if there may or may not be new Nintendo hardware coming out this year. So will they want to have something for the new system, or will it be just a Switch game? I don't know. There's a lot of questions, but also Game Freak likes to have something out. Like at least last year, the DLC was like their big holiday game, but I don't know. It's just like I said, Pokemon question mark. Any or all of that's exciting. My ideal world, we would actually have a new Let's Go set in the Johto region again. Um, but I also think that was just a one-off thing that they're not going to revisit. But that or a Legend style, either one would be ideal. So yeah,
Hmm. Fair enough.
okay,
Yeah. No, I love that the idea of Pokemon is just higher up in your
yeah,
list.
it's yeah, I like it.
No, that's fair. I mean, no, I mean you're totally justified. It's just funny. Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, I'm
Top
fine.
5.
Yep.
All right. So top 5 for me, my other anime of the coming out next year, it's My Hero season 7, which
Mm.
My Hero Academia has very quickly become my favorite anime, which is crazy
How
because
far are you?
I'm caught up.
Really? Oh, I haven't seen
Yeah,
the
and
last
that's what I'm saying.
season.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, yeah. Are you also caught up?
No, I think I'm one season behind. I
Oh
kind of
yeah, no.
slacked off in anime this year.
That's what I'm saying. No, I mean there's so much anime to watch, but no, I don't even. I think I started this show maybe like
like
October?
March.
I don't
No,
March. Oh,
was
was it
it?
that long ago?
Maybe.
Wait, what?
I don't.
I don't know. I don't remember. I want to check my Crunchyroll. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's
well, it
been a
wasn't.
while.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember thinking like, I don't know, I'll start it. Like because I started with my brother originally,
Mm.
and then me and my brother we just inconsistent schedules and stuff. So I was like, I guess I'll just watch it because we were in the middle of the like tournament arc in season two, which
Mm.
is really good. So I was like, I gotta see how this goes,
Yeah.
and I never let go. And I was like, dude, why was I not watching this? Because like
Uh.
again, it makes so much sense. Like I'm obsessed with superheroes, clearly. And it's like, well, anime is also amazing. I wonder if there's anime about superheroes.
Oh.
And I love it. It's amazing. All the characters are great. I love powers. They're so smart with them and like the quirks. And it's like,
Mhm.
and it's like now I'm like, what quirk would I want if I could make my own quirk? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what I do this class 1A so cool, and oh my gosh, and it's so like, oh my,
Mhm.
it's like, it's weirdly like up to a depth, and like the storylines are in depth, the characters and like people like character like it's serious, and it's like, oh yeah, the show's a lighthearted, and it's like, oh, like this latest season, bro.
I've seen
Like
some clips. Yeah.
when I told you it all went south, bro, it
Yeah.
like it ain't like we ain't it's not Shibuya bad, but it's like it's close. Like it's like, bro,
Mhm.
this got dark. I was like,
Yeah.
they play no games, but yeah, it's and it does something well that I also praise Demon Slayer a lot for. It focuses on the training, so when people get better,
Mm.
it's not out of nowhere. There's
Yes.
no real unexplained like power jumps, in my opinion, for the most part. And pretty much everyone in the show, especially like Deku trains like crazy all the time.
Mhm.
Even the bad guys have explained power boosts. Like everyone's like, I mean, for the most part, but I mean, like everyone's for the most part is like, okay, like this makes sense for obviously as much as the anime about superheroes would make sense.
Yeah.
So I really like it a lot. The characters are really believable, really interesting, and yeah, I'm really excited for this next season. I'm hyped.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I'll get caught up eventually on.
There's so much
I
out there.
enjoyed it. I just kind of stopped watching it, but I want to watch more. I just yeah.
It's
Um.
fair.
But yeah. But eventually, when I get up to it, it will be. I'm sure it will be good.
Fair.
Okay. My number five is new Nintendo console. Maybe.
Maybe, possibly.
Like, it's so ridiculous that a Switch Pro or some kind of upgraded Switch has been rumored to exist since before the Switch came out. Literally, like, it was like, oh, the Switch Mini will come out in 2018, and then the Switch Pro will come out in 2019. Actually, the Switch Mini came out in 2019, and then the OLED came out in 2021. But people were like, oh, like in 21, there literally, oh, so stupid. Literally, there was when Mario plus Rabbids, was it called Sparks of Hope, was announced. I think at Ubisoft's E3 2020, yeah, 2020 uh, presentation. Literally, there were articles saying that they have inside sources saying that the demo that you saw of this game was running on the Switch Pro. It is coming out next year. And then that didn't happen, so I don't know what that was about. Like, did you just make that up just for clicks? They obviously did.
I mean,
Because it
it
was like,
worked though.
yeah, and then like, oh, a rumor is that Switch Pro will come out at the same time as the new Zelda game. Also, didn't happen. So this year, like, either it feels like it has to happen this year. Like, if I finally just straight up the Switch 2 or the next gen Switch or whatever it's going to be called, I'm like 65% certain it's coming out this year. So,
Okay.
yeah. That will also mean, new games, probably some 3D Mario platformer, maybe, some other stuff as well. But like, just new hardware of any kind is very exciting for me, but especially when it comes to Nintendo. Um, just better specs, new possibilities with technology. Just you know, that's it's exciting for it to finally come out. Also, I'm tired of hearing rumors about it. I just want it to be here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like just like we're not. If we're gonna do it, just do it, kind of thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't
Like
know. The idea of hyping something up before the sequel before the original comes out is kind of ridiculous.
yeah, it sure was. Because people are like, oh, there's no like this system is so weak. There's no way it'll have the longevity that it should. Clearly, a Switch Pro is coming shortly after. No, but it was perfectly fine the way it was. But, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that thing that may or may not happen this year as well. So that's two in a row that I'm like maybe, but the idea of it is still exciting to me. So yeah,
Hmm,
okay.
guess
Number
we'll
four.
see. All right, number 4, I have Dune Part 2.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really excited for this because again, we've talked about it a lot. I think we've talked about it since the first one came out and we reviewed it. A
hmm
lot of exposition, a lot of setup, a lot of world building for this first movie. So this next movie can just hit the ground running, hopefully.
mm.
It seems the trailer looks really interesting. I mean, the cast we talked about before is everybody. So
Yeah, is the second one added even more people? Like
yes,
Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, like how?
yeah,
There's so many
I
people in
don't
this.
know. It's pretty ridiculous. Like they've got all these people in here. They they've got I mean they've got to set up. This is apparently some big classic. It's like this is one of those movies that anything short of a billion's an absolute like failure in my opinion.
I
Like
mean,
this needs to be
like
huge.
the first one came out during COVID, but it still hit
Right.
400 something $1 million, but it was also streaming on HBO at the same time. So that's already pretty darn impressive.
Right.
And I agree with their decision to delay it out of November because they want, all of these stars to talk about it. So yeah, like March is not always the best month as far as like box office revenue goes, but there have been some movies that that break that billion threshold. I know Captain Marvel did. I'm sure there. Oh, Zootopia released in March, and that broke a bill.
Mm,
Kung Fu Panda 3 also did it. It was close if it didn't quite break it, but like those released around that time, so it can be done, and
mm.
I hope it makes as much money as it deserves, which is a lot.
Yeah, no, it definitely should. Cause I don't know, it's exciting stuff, man. I mean, like having the next big epic, and I think this is kind of what people talk about when they're talking about like, oh, we're this is we're tired of these kind of movies. Like, no, I don't think we are. I think we just need something new, and I think this is it.
Yeah, I think we just need a really good one. I think
Yeah,
this
no,
is
I
going to
mean
be
that's
a
the thing. It's
really good
like
one.
yeah, it's like maybe well, we don't need Star Wars. He's like, oh man, I'm tired of Star Wars. Watch us doing. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like that's.
uh,
I don't think Star Wars was the problem. I think it was just that Star Wars movie. So
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see. But no, it definitely looks really. I don't know, it looks really, really has high potential to me. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Okay. My number four is Deadpool 3.
Yeah, it's my number 3.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine finally in the same movie together.
Yep.
Well, Deadpool's finally part of the
100%.
MCU. He's gonna make so many jokes about that. Like,
Yep.
it's gonna be a blast.
Oh yeah, all warranted. It's gonna be great. Very excited.
hmm Yep, yep. It's very funny that every single leak from the set has been on that same like desert. Like, does the whole movie take place just on that one? Like, just there?
I mean, hopefully not, but like maybe.
but even if it does, I'm sure it would be good. Like, I'm curious about how much they'll reference other like Fox movies, like, or the end of the Marvels, they she went into the Fox movie X-Men universe. Is this movie going to be set in that universe, or is it going to, like, how are they going to make this crossover into the main MCU universe? Um,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, that's the thing. It's interesting how this is gonna go into it, but I mean, at the
mm.
same time, I mean, they'll make it work. It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter. I mean, because it's
yeah.
like it's Deadpool. Like we don't, as long as it's funny, which it's going to be, and it's like really
Hmm.
action packed, which is going to be, and it has Wolverine, which it will. So like,
Hmm.
I don't feel. I feel like you don't lose. So it's like I don't really think. I don't. At least for me, the MCU like continuity or whatever to me is kind of not. I don't want to say irrelevant, but like I don't really care.
Right, especially since by the time Secret Wars comes around, it's all going to be canon, so it doesn't really matter where this movie takes place. I guess.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of my thing too. I don't think it really matters.
yeah,
But
um, yeah. It's the only MCU movie coming out this year, which is kind of equally exciting. Like, I don't necessarily mind them, delaying movies to make sure they're good. Originally, it was going to be like four movies this year. They laid all of them out into future years. So
right.
I think that was a
Yeah.
good
I
call.
mean, yeah, and considering the overarching MCU issues, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, so it's
Yeah,
fine. But
yeah. That doesn't mean four at least are coming out in 2025. So that's
but not two Avengers
not two
movies
Avengers
in a
movies.
row.
Right. That year, oh, that year, they're gonna bring in Superman and Batman and Captain America and Blade and, like, oh, okay, okay.
That oh my, that's right. Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
but we'll get there eventually. We'll get there.
Really need a top 20 list for next year.
May, maybe. Okay, so that was your number three, also.
Yes.
Okay, my number three is Invincible season two, part two.
Yeah, it's my seat number two.
Yeah, it.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
I'm excited. I'm
okay, question.
excited. Yes,
Question.
yes.
It's not coming out Friday anymore, or it didn't come out last. It's not like when is it? Like
I have no idea. I
supposedly
thought it was going to come out
last
last
Friday, right?
Friday, but it.
That
I
was the
thought that.
original plan.
I thought so. I haven't looked into it, but my roommate and I literally sat down on Friday. It's like it's time for Invincible, and it didn't happen.
I
So, um, when is Invincible coming back?
two.
Early 2024. Thanks so much, Google.
Bro, what?
Yeah,
Uh,
as of 4 days ago, it's just early 2024.
that's like I talked to my brother about this, and we all know Invincible's excellent,
Hmm.
but these delays are not going well. Like I don't like I understand there's a lot you have to do. There's an A-list voice acting cast. The
Hmm.
animation's extremely crispy, especially compared to last season, but
Yeah.
it's been years. You only make 8 episodes. Like that's not even like I mean, granted, yes, they're 8 longer episodes, but like
Hmm. Still.
I don't know, man. It's kind of like this is kind of I don't know. This as far as content goes, this feels
Hmm.
unnecessarily drawn out.
Yeah, and like originally they made the argument, oh, we're delaying it, or we're having that break between the parts because usually shows that released around the holiday season get lost in the traffic of the season. So
I mean,
that logic makes enough sense. But then if you don't, you know, keep people engaged for when it comes back, it, it might flop when it comes back. So I'm hoping soon they'll start talking about it at least again. Like by the end of this month, we'll at least hear something about it. Hopefully.
I mean, I guess, but like, and that's my thing. Like, it's not even the delay; it's the like ambiguous delay. Like that is what
Mm,
bothers me because
yeah.
it's literally because like it keeps going. Like I mean, this happened before. Like this is how this is how it was between 1 and 2. It was kind of just like it's coming out eventually. All right,
Hmm.
bye for forever. And then it's like, oh hey, it's coming out at the end of 2023, and then like what December
It
2023 is
was
like,
November,
hey,
but yeah,
I mean, but
yeah.
December, like like it was like what it was like right, it wasn't like right after Thanksgiving.
It was the last episode aired Thanksgiving Day, so it was
Really?
like
Okay, maybe it was.
yeah, it
Oh no,
was
it
the
was
first week,
November
first
3rd.
Friday
That's
of
right.
November.
That's right.
So
That's right. It was November 3rd. My bad. My bad.
yeah, but
But
still
yeah,
November.
after like no word for like years, and it's like now it's like all right,
Yep.
4 episodes, and we're already MIA, and it's like come on, like after
Hmm.
4 episodes, we're gone again without
Yeah.
no known return except probably early next year. It's like
Yeah,
no, did you not have the whole season ready?
they
Like
did
after
guarantee
all
that the
that?
gaps between seasons will be way shorter, so
No,
that
but
makes
see,
me.
that's how now the gaps in between the seasons.
The gap won't be 2.5 years between
That's what I'm
between
saying.
parts.
It's like, oh yeah, we dropped season 3 right after season 2 after a year between in the middle of season 2. Because they even, I mean, did they? We didn't even do this last year, right? Or last season, right? Like
No, it
straight through,
straight through. Yeah. Well, it
right?
came out. It kind of started in like March, I think.
Well, yeah,
So
but I mean, they went 8 for
yeah,
8 though. They didn't just.
they did.
I mean, I don't know. I love the show, but
Mm,
the gaps bother me so much. And like it's
that's
getting to the
fair.
point where I'm worried about it because I'm like, is this show even gonna like? What happens if you have a bad season? Are you just gonna get canceled? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, because like when you're only guaranteed four at a time, and two of them don't like, that might be all people talk about.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, I know there's a lot that goes into animation and voice acting and all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, hey man, other shows are more consistent. Like that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like other show, I understand that it's hard out there and there's a lot, but I mean,
Hmm.
other shows are coming out too,
Yeah.
man. Like
Now, granted, I am glad that they haven't dropped it, when we thought they did or were going to, because if it did drop on Friday or last Friday, and then the second episode were this week we have Percy Jackson and all of Echo,
I mean,
and then
yeah,
also
but
Invincible in the same week. That's a lot of.
I mean, it is, but it's like, I mean, again, it's not like it goes anywhere once it drops. You could always just
Yeah,
watch it later. Like,
that's
I don't know.
true.
I guess I see your argument, but I guess for me, it's more like it's more knowing that it's there versus like
Mm.
is invincible. Like, I get 4 episodes in the after what 2, 3 years of waiting almost.
It was over 2.5 years. Yeah.
I'm saying, like,
Hmm.
that, come on, man, like that that ain't right. Like
uh,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know stuff takes its time and I know stuff is like but it's like I
but it's
don't know.
still your
I don't
second most anticipated thing of this year, though.
it is because
So.
that's my thing. It's that good, but it still bothers me. That's why it's like that student
Mm,
that is like valedictorian material, but they don't do the homework or something, and you're just like, bro, you could I don't know. School's
yeah.
over anyway. But still, I
That's,
mean,
yeah.
like, I don't know. It's just like,
Mm,
come on, man.
yeah. I don't think I see what you mean, but
But anyway, rant over.
yes. But when it doesn't finally come back at some point, whenever it feels like it, It will be very good. Yeah.
Yes. No, I mean it's
Yes.
great. We left off on a great cliffhanger. I mean, we did leave off on a solid cliffhanger. I really like the fight scenes. Have been epic. There's only going to be
Yeah.
more. I
Oh yeah.
and yeah, it just seems really interesting. The animation looks great. I'm interested to see. I mean, I still like we talked about like what is Mark going to do, man?
Hmm.
There's no winning.
He's he's going to brush up against that interdimensional teleporting guy very quickly, and
That's what I'm saying.
he's going to have contingencies of like all these different other dimensions who have already knows how to deal with them. Like he's going to.
I mean, this is
What's
going to be
Cecil gonna do about it?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, the portal guy might just pull a Rick and Morty and just be like, you know what? This reality's gone. Sorry, I'm just gonna get a new one.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. There's no way out, man. I don't know. But
Mm,
we'll see. I'm excited. Maybe the Earth does get subjugated. And that's how the season ends. Who knows?
maybe
It'd be
they
crazy.
did say that uh, to like expect big things from episode 4, but then episode 8 will be even crazier than anything you've seen before. So like,
Oh gosh.
oh dang, okay.
There we go.
Yep,
Hopefully, eventually.
eventually. Okay, so my number 2 is Dune 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, like so Dune is one of those I guess franchises that like I I knew about kind of due to cultural osmosis. Like I didn't read, I hadn't like watched the '80s movie. I didn't really know anything about it. I just knew the name. I just knew it existed. Um, and even like the trailers, they weren't like the trailers for the first movie. They weren't grabbing me like I was hoping they would. Like they looked very grandiose, but it wasn't like I don't know. I wasn't like feeling it as much as I hoped I would. But just after my first viewing of the movie, even like just like on just like a regular sized TV in my living room at home on HBO, like even that was enough to be like, wow, this is something special. And like I don't do this for many movies, but I've actually stopped watching trailers for this second one because I want to I want to be as surprised as I possibly can. I want this movie to I want to have anything spoiled. I want it completely fresh. I want this movie to blow me away, and I'm going to go into the biggest theater I possibly can, like, and watch it like with actually good audio because I not that the TV on my home had bad audio, but like just imagining those ornithopters or the just the way the sand moves or the worms and everything in a big you know big movie theater just I think it'd be pretty magical, honestly. So
It should. Yeah, it has all the
yeah,
potential to be just an epic.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's on March 1st, so don't have to wait that much later, that much longer.
No.
So yeah, and I do appreciate them moving it up because I think the next like real competition will be Kung Fu Panda 4, which is like 2 weeks later. So it at least has 2 weeks for to do his thing. So
Mm.
hopefully it will. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Before we get to
Number
number one,
one.
do you have any honorable mentions?
I do
Hmm.
actually. I do. You named some of them. I have the Penguin Show on here, and
Hmm.
I have Despicable Me 4,
Oh
which
yeah,
is the movie. Didn't really
that's a
ask
movie.
for, but I do like. I don't like the Minions movie, but I do like the Despicable Me movies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as long as they kind of lean into what works about the movies, in my opinion, it should be fine. The Agatha show's happening.
Yes.
I put TBD because they're probably gonna change it again.
I'm
But
pretty sure it's still Darkhold Diaries, but who's to say if that doesn't
I
change?
mean, I thought I don't even. I don't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I just put Agatha show. It doesn't really
Yes.
matter. We'll see what happens. And then there's also again. I am. I know there's. Isn't there a Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man. I was gonna
Mhm.
put Chainsaw Man on here, but I put it on my honorable mentions just because.
We don't have
As
a
good as
guarantee that it's coming out this year. Also,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
kind of my thing. I was like, I didn't find anything definite about when it comes out.
Hmm.
Also, like, yeah, it just I don't know, because I've done that before. We're like, oh yeah, this is totally gonna be this year. JK, and then it gets
Hmm.
like thrown back. And I'm like, all right, never. But it would have been on here and pretty high, but not.
Yeah, same.
And then I also had the Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash game. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. It looks like
No.
every anime game I've ever seen, but
No, it's
anytime
another freaking arena fighter.
I know, I know. Some of the arena fighters aren't bad, but it's like
But they made
that.
Naruto. They made art Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm back in like 2011, and then they made five of those, and then they also made every other anime game exactly like that forever.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah.
The My Hero one exactly the same.
Yeah, and I mean
I
that's
think
kind of
there's
the
a
thing.
Fairy Tale one. Like there's so
Yeah,
many that are
no, there's. I
exactly
mean,
like that.
yes, it's every anime game for the last 15 years. Yes.
Mm,
However, for me, it's more about hey, a popular anime is getting a video game. Like
yeah,
you know, that's. I mean, that's a good thing, and also too, it's kind of like maybe this will be the one where they kind of realize maybe we need to change it up a bit because they do have, I think two. I think they do have 2v2 and 2v1, which I'm like,
mm,
okay, good. The show's about
okay.
jumping, so that's perfect. But at the
Hmm.
same time, maybe whenever something gets one game, the idea of it getting another one. So if they could, a
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen fighting game sounds amazing if done correctly. So maybe if they have more of them,
Hmm.
they'll find what works and be like, hey, let's do this. And then it's crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like something it could be. So we'll see. Obviously, I don't think the first one's going to be that good. It doesn't look that good. It looks like every other thing ever. But
Mm,
it's just the first one. So it's more of an idea of where it's going. So
yeah.
maybe it'll be
Exactly.
better.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
yeah, that's all.
just them doing more with that IP is definitely
Yes.
good to know.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes. Basically, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So my honorable mentions, I have Echo. That's a very close number 11.
Mhm.
The rest of the Percy Jackson show, which has been pretty good so far, in my opinion. Um, Star Wars: The Acolyte. That's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that should be coming out this year. We haven't really heard anything like really about it. We just like I it's like from what we have heard, it sounds good. I just hope it comes out this year. Um, I know Andor season 2 was gonna come out this year, but that got delayed, which is fine. Make that show as good as it possibly can be. You still need to watch it, but it's fine. Um, X-Men '97, that's also coming out this year.
Oh,
Again, another
I
show
forgot
from
about
Disney
that.
that we just haven't seen any trailers or new concept art for since it was announced. It is coming out soon. Like we don't know an art style. We don't know like really what it's going to be about. We just know that it's more X-Men. So
Hmm.
my biggest fear is that the show has the similar art style to the What If show, which I don't hate that art style, but that's not what this show needs to be. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it needs to kind of just do what it was originally doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, uh, DC's Creature Commandos, directed by James Gunn, that animated show, I think, which is technically going to be the first thing in James Gunn's DC universe.
Okay.
I, I'm excited for that, and he made it a point when his original announcement happened. He made it a point to say that he's specifically casting people that would be good in both live action and animation. And all the people who we cast to play, various characters in Creature Commandos look the part to also play live action stuff. So that's very cool.
Hmm.
He said Inside Out 2, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire.
Oh
Gonna
yeah.
be dumb, gonna be fun.
Yeah. As long as there's not too many like unnecessary people moments, man.
Yeah. And the last honorable mention I have is a movie that's probably not going to be great, but is at least intriguing to me. Is this movie called Argyle. It's a movie by Matthew Vaughn, who did the Kingsman movies,
Mm,
and like it's about this writer who writes about spy stories and then gets wrapped up in a spy story herself, like happenstantially.
mm,
And the cast, it's incredible. We got Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa, Edward Norton, Sam
oh, wow.
Jackson,
Mm,
Bryan Cranston, like a bunch of really famous people are in this movie.
great.
Um, yeah, like again, I don't know if it doesn't. It's one of those movies that doesn't look like it's really going to be that great, but it could be like either it could be a sleeper hit, it could be just a lot of fun. I like Matthew Vaughn quite a bit, so I'm at least keeping an ear out for it. So hopefully it's at least entertaining.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number one.
You already know.
Is it Beyond the Spider Verse?
It's like, no, it's Madam Web. Obvious.
Hey, it's not the no.
No, 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 no.
So before you keep going, I'm gonna say this. I do not have it at my number one because I'm not 100% confident it's coming out this year. I really want it to. I really, really hope it does, but I'm not 100% certain.
So you can put Pokemon here, but you're not gonna. I mean,
That's
you
a
could
good
have
point.
just.
That's a very valid point. I didn't
Your
consider
logic is breaking down.
that. It's a secret number zero for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, I mean, wait. So what is your number one? Now I need to know.
Well, we'll talk about
No,
Spider
no,
Verse.
no, 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 no. We're gonna talk about this plenty. I want to hear what you
Okay,
gotta say.
okay. That's fair. Okay, we'll get back to yours. My number one is the video game Hades 2.
Ah.
Which is actually, I mentioned to you right before the podcast that this is just something randomly popped in my head yesterday that was really high. This I completely forgot about this until yesterday. Like, wait,
Well,
that's
talk about it.
I didn't forget. I just forgot to put it on the list. Okay, I think about this game daily. I just forgot to put it on the list. Like, I probably put over conservatively 300 hours into Hades. It is a very addictive game, a very, very fun game, a game that, like, for me, it hasn't even gotten tiring yet because, like, every single time you play, there's something a little different. Like, there's different, like, the different, like, combinations of abilities and just different things. That, like, you can change certain things about the way it is difficult. Just there's so many unique dialogue options. Like there's this whole little hub area that you can like talk to various different people, and depending on where you are in the story, like your uh, your relationships with them just develops throughout. And the fact that it's only made by like 5 people is incredible.
It is.
It's a very very small team. Um, I could have that number low, but it's an indie game that's like it's one of those studios. Supergiant is one of those studios where if their name was on the box, you know it's going to be a very good game. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's going to be a very, very good video game. So at the Game Awards 2022, when Jeff Keighley was like, "Now here's a new game from an indie studio that you all know and love," and like cut to black, like, "Oh, I wonder if it's going to be a Supergiant game." Supergiant, okay, I'm in. And then like the cinematics started playing. He's like, "Is this what I think it is?" And then like the music kicked in from the game. Like, oh, like literally, I ran around the house screaming. It was just literally, I had dreams about this game. We haven't even seen a second of gameplay. We haven't even seen a second trailer since you know last year, but it's supposed to come out at some point this year. And yeah, I'm gonna put hundreds of hours into it. It's gonna be good.
As you should. As you
Yeah,
should.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Spider-Man.
Oh man. So
So the
listen,
reason why
I
it's not my number one is both oh no, I just had it. Haley Steinfeld and Jake Johnson, who plays Spider Peter B. Parker, they've
mm,
both gone on record kind of recently saying that they haven't recorded any new lines for the third one yet, which feels like it's not as far along as it needs to be. Um, but you did bring up a very good point. I am still extremely excited for it existing. so, so go.
yeah, I mean, look, we talk about this movie probably. It comes up. I feel like at least once a podcast in general.
At
Like
least a
this
Spider Verse
movie.
movie comes up once a podcast. Absolutely.
Yes, at least yeah, and I mean, as it should. I mean, look,
Mm,
I know. I just I know it's like. I mean, it's great. I mean, the animation style is generational in terms of setting other movies made to interact what it's trying to do.
hmm
Voice acting's amazing. The characters, just their how they're drawn, how they were drawn differently to make them seem differently, as well as from different universes. How the story works and how it's set up, the suspense, the music choices, the soundtrack's amazing. Like the colors are like ridiculous. It's so
mm,
freaking good, man. And like the way this one ended, it ends really well. And there's this all this big scene where you expect one thing, you get something else. It's a huge
hmm
cliffhanger. And like the only thing you could say about Across the Spider Verse was like, oh, not all the Spider people you knew came back, but they're literally in it at the end, about to go help out. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so like following the initial idea that these were like basically back to back, it's like, yeah, that works out fine. It's no big
hmm
deal. You're not missing anything,
Yeah.
but
Like
man,
there have
it's
been very, very few. Like I can't even think of another time where I've literally been on the edge of my seat during watching or doing something. Like literally, like as like the realization that he's not in his home dimension. Like Aaron shows up, and then he gets attacked, and then he other Miles shows up, and the music starts swelling, and just it's like literally I was on the edge of my seat, and then to be continued, I had to like fall back, like take a deep breath, like oh my god, I want it
man.
now.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just like
That's why I need it to come out this year, but I'm not confident that it will. However, whenever it does come out, it's going to be the best movie of that year. So I don't need them to rush
absolutely.
it, but I also need them to release it tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we know, I mean, we know it's going to be amazing. The first one was amazing. The second
hmm
one was, you guessed it, amazing. This one's going to be,
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubts whatsoever.
hmm
I'm super excited. I love how it has taken a character in Miles Morales that was not super well known and made him a forefront of one of the Spider-Men. It's not
hmm
just, and I feel like it's affected other things too. Like even the Spider-Man video games on PS4, PS5
Yeah.
now. I love how in the subtitles they're both Spider-Man. Like it's not just like they
hmm
recognize they're both Spider. I think that's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's because again having two Spider. You know what I mean? Two Spider-Man. It's not. There's not two Batman. There's not really. I mean, I know they tried to do that Jonathan Kemp thing where it's two Superman, but it's not the same. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't work the same. But there are really two
hmm
Spider-Man, and of course, there's more than two because there's a whole universe of Spider people. Because
hmm
yes, and everyone
Yeah.
loves
And I liked
it.
how in this movie, whenever someone was like said the word Spider-Man, every single person on the screen, like
Me too.
even Gwen's like, yes, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah.
Spider-Man.
The dinosaur in a mask, me, you,
uh,
what? Like
me,
everyone's Spider,
Spider-Man.
like as they should be. Like it's just cool, like that, and also just like. I feel like the idea of the multiverse has just been like magnified since the first one came out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone's doing multiverse now.
It kind of was the first major one to do it, wasn't it? Huh.
I mean, as far as like a movie, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it in shows and stuff, but I mean, like, because I know, because like MCU's doing it. They had it with like DC a little bit. They had
Yeah.
it with,
Flash
I
kind of
mean,
tried it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Flash was trying to do it. In other TV, I mean, Superman and Lois, or not Superman and Lois, but My Adventures with Superman
Hmm.
was, they had a whole
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, you can't tell me that wasn't Spider Verse inspired. That felt, I mean, there and other examples
Invincible
too.
was doing it also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of just where it's at. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
it's
It's
just really, really good.
yeah. And I saw this amazing analysis of that movie the other day where like he was breaking down why the cliffhanger of this movie didn't feel as cheap as cliffhangers from other movies because a lot of times when there is a cliffhanger, it's like the action will be building, 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 and then like you feel like the movie cuts off. Like if there's a two-parter, it's like the second part will finish the movie. Whereas you
Mhm.
like legitimately this movie, nearly every single character beat, every single like arc that was present in this movie finished, except for Miles telling his telling his parents that he's Spider-Man. He tried to,
Yep.
but the movie pulled a fast one on me where he's like, when he says, "Mom, I'm Spider-Man." There is 13 seconds of silence, and then she says, "Who's Spider-Man?" Like, like, oh, that's just so so well done because, like, not only if you're not like paying super close attention, you may not even realize that he's not in his own dimension. So like
Hmm.
if you don't know that it's a part that's going to be a two-part, like you think that's the end, that's the climax of the movie. It's like no, there's more. And then it just like yeah, and then he essentially was like the rest of like the rest of like the last 10 or so minutes of this movie, it's really as if a new movie is starting, which isn't really the case for a cliffhanger. Usually it's like, oh, the movie stops. But here, the movie more or less resolves, and now we're getting the start of a new movie that you got to wait for the rest of, which is very fun and interesting way to do it. And oh man,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it's just the setup is so hype, man. I mean, I'm excited. It's just
yes.
it's gonna be super good. Like I'm just ready. I'm just ready. And we haven't even talked about the Spot, who was this like the surprise cool villain
Hmm.
because it looked stupid at first, and then he became crazy, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Like yeah, Across the Spider Verse is one of those movies I could more or less watch on repeat forever.
100%. No. Yeah. I really enjoy it because it's just one of those things. It's one of those movies you really can't like, especially. I mean, even Into the Spider Verse, I feel like by itself is just perfect, and like you can
Mm,
watch it regardless. But like once Beyond the Spider Verse comes out, I feel like you could just watch all these movies anytime, and it's just perfect. Like it's just a great
mm,
story.
absolutely.
Yeah, just the only
Yeah,
bad part about it coming out is that there won't be another one probably.
probably. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Sony making other movies in this style, but yeah, there is something you know satisfying about a movie series having its trilogy and then stopping. You don't need to make more. You don't need spin-offs. You don't. The franchise is done. You made your three perfect movies. There's no reason to sully it. So I
Mm.
think you know I think that that's probably the right call. But yeah, I do want Sony to like implement that art style into other stuff that they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think best case scenario in my head right now is I hope this movie comes out in December because I can't think of many other movies coming out in December right now. I know there's no big DC movie or there's obviously no big Marvel movie. Sony has movies kind of throughout that of Wed Craven and Venom 3 kind of spaced throughout. So I think Venom 3 is in October. So by December that'll be out and it'll kind of have that much to itself. So hopefully like mid December will be its time to shine. That would be
Bro,
good.
that would be perfect. That'd be like, oh man.
Yes. Also, really hope it doesn't get delayed into next year, because if it does, then we'll get Superman, Captain America, Blade, and Spider-Man, and whatever else. So, I don't think we could literally handle that.
I mean, you say that, but like, would you really be that mad?
No, no.
Oh no, too much content I've always wanted. Like, like I think we'll be okay somehow.
Mm-mm.
I think we'll survive.
We'll be fine. So yeah, let us know down below what you're excited for. You think there's anything big that we missed? I'm sure there was. I'm sure literally in the shower tonight I'll be like, "Oh, that thing," but but uh, but yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a very good year. Some people are calling it a filler year because we're just waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6, which if that's the only thing you care about, like get a different hobby. Like, I'm sure the
I
game's gonna be
mean,
good, but there's other stuff happening in between there.
yeah. Grand Theft Auto is basically just like a meme in terms of like people wanting it. I feel. I mean, it does look good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it does. It does. But yeah, there's still a lot to look forward to this year.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, that's all I've got from here.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.